What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. I am Pitching Ninja, and I'm here with a very ordinary Will Leahey.
That's right, Ninja. Just plain old boring Will today. So Chris Sale was the martyr of the 2018 World Series Red Sox champions. He's one of my favorite pitchers of all time. He'd been an absolute stud from pretty much when he came into the league until this time. And after he helped the Red Sox win the World Series, he was never really the same guy since. He missed an entire season. He played very few games for a couple, but he just wasn't particularly good the last couple of years, to the point where he even got traded to the Braves this offseason. And I didn't care that much. Didn't want to see him go, but I didn't think he was going to help the Red Sox win that much. And I was dead wrong. He's been an absolute stud on the Braves, to the point where you named him the second best starting pitcher in all of baseball now yesterday. Joe, what have you seen? Why has he made this dramatic turnaround, and why is he so awesome now?
Well, number one, I was really excited when the Braves got him. I don't know if you remember, but I had suggested that we even run a video about this big acquisition the Braves got, because I have similarly always been a Chris Sale fan. I love his stuff. I love his attitude on the bump, but just generally his entire career, I've loved his stuff. What he's done this year, it kind of plays into this new thinking in baseball. Everybody's talking about launch angle swings, and we've mentioned it before. Hitters are trying to swing a little bit up to hit the ball out of the yard. His hitting's really hard, and if you make contact, you're able to score a run with one swing versus series of hits, which is much harder to string together. So all that being said, what Sale has done is gone back to kind of his lower arm slot. His arm slot had crept up a little bit, and he has, I don't know if this is intentional or if it's because he's healthy. I'd like to think it's intentional. I'd like to think the Braves pointed this out to him. His release point is the lowest it's been in the last 5 years, at like 5.16 feet off the ground. You're thinking he's a 6'6" dude. Releasing that low, number one, just messes with the hitter's perception. But number two, the ball is coming in a little flatter. So when a hitter's swing intersects with it less, you think steep plane, steep swing, there's going to be more time that the bat's going to intersect with the ball. Flatter pitch. The pitch is in and out of the zone of contact with the bat a lot quicker. So it makes it tougher. And also is releasing a little bit closer towards first base, which is creating this weird angle for hitters. I did this overlay of Chris Sale a few years ago with Chris Sale now. And you can see his slight change in release point. And just a little adjustment, I think, has made a ton of difference for him. He's had other things that jumped out to me too. His velo's back where it should be, as well as being totally healthy. This lower release point is a theme in baseball. You see guys like Paul Skeens. He has a lower arm slot. Seth Lugo is throwing with a lower release point than he has in a number of years, and you've seen that be successful. Tanner Houck. So a bunch of these guys are throwing with lower arm slot either intentionally or it's actually being scouted for now. It's one of the reasons why, even though Skeens' fastball shape wasn't viewed as awesome, the idea of that lower release point makes it that much tougher to hit. Chris Sale was dominant last night with 9 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 2 runs. He had these sliders and painted with his fastball, but I really thought his sliders were just disgusting. Here's an overlay of his fastball. It was fouled off and a slider, and you can see how those pitches come in looking very similar, and that slider just keeps going, and you're totally screwed as a hitter. So good, Chris Sale. He leads baseball in wins now. I know we don't focus on wins, but he does. It's a fact. He's third in K per 9, and he leads baseball in FIP and XFIP, which shows he's been absolutely dominant. Chris Sale also has the most valuable slider in baseball, and just looking at it, the eye test tells me the same thing. He outdueled Zach Gallen yesterday as the Braves chopped the D-backs 6-2. Gallen had 4 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 4 earned runs, and had these knuckle curves. Jamison Tyone had 7 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs as the Cubs mauled the Orioles 9-2. He had these cutters and nasty sweepers. He faced Dean Kramer, who had 3 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 4 runs, and had this splitter. The Guardians beat the Tigers 9-8. The pitching wasn't that great this game. Ben Lively had this painted backdoor 2-seamer and his slider, but gave up 6 runs in 5 1/3 innings. We'll fast forward through this. Zach Wheeler had 7 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 1 run on 3 hits, and he's been so good. The Phillies hammered the Dodgers 10-1. Hit his fastballs up to 98 miles an hour and painted with his fastball, as well as these cutters and sweepers. Just another outstanding effort by Zach Wheeler. Ryan Pepiot was really good yesterday with 7 Ks and 5 2/3 innings, giving up 1 run as the Rays stung the Yankees 5-3. For me, the pitch of the game for Pepiot was his changeup. He had 7 swings and misses on his changeup. Look how filthy these things are and how much he pronates through them to get that movement. Filthy stuff from Ryan Pepiot. He faced Carlos Rodon with 5 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 4 runs. Rodon had a really tough first inning again. His first inning ERA, I believe this season, is 9. He just struggles in the first inning, settling in, and then eventually does. He did have these sliders and changeups and this absolutely pissed off 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Just angry. He also had 19 swings and misses this game, which is one of the most of any pitcher on the day, but not good results thanks to that first inning. Nick Lodolo had 4 Ks in 3 2/3 innings, giving up 4 runs. Came out really strong in this game, striking out the side in the first inning. This looked like a big day for Lodolo, and the rain came in and cooled him off. The Reds still ended up winning 12-6 over the Rockies. He faced Cal Quantrill at 4 Ks in 2 innings, giving up 5 runs. He had this splitter and curveball.
Ninja, this game actually brought us our dog of the day. And for the second day in a row, it goes to Reese Hines for blasting this ball 458 feet.
Oh my goodness!
And we said yesterday that he should retire because he made his debut. He went 2 for 3. He had a dong and a double, and his OPS was 2.667. And not a particularly highly touted prospect. Might as well just quit while he's ahead. Well, we were dead wrong. He needs to retire today because
Absolutely.
he now in his first 2 games he has 5 extra base hits, which is an MLB record, and 2 massive donks. He hit 2 balls for 450 plus in his first 2 games. So he's a legend, and he needs to get out of the game.
Max Scherzer had 6 Ks in 6 2/3 innings, giving up 3 earned runs as the Rangers beat the Angels 5-4. He had these sliders and picked up a sword as well as this filthy changeup. Although his fastball is averaging under 93 miles an hour this year. I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on.
Ninja, when's DeGrom coming back?
I don't know. I need DeGrom in my life.
It's quite passionate, Ninja.
I need Jacob DeGrom like I need air.
Would you know my name?
The Pirates beat the Brewers 12-2. Starting pitching wasn't that great this game, but Quinn Priester came in as the bulk guy, so I'm going to count him as a starter here. He had 8 Ks in 6 innings and this curveball and slider. Brayan Bello had 11 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings, but gave up 5 runs. He had 10 Ks for his first 10 outs in this game. He had these sliders and changeups, picked up 10 whiffs on his changeup, painted with his fastball, led the day in swings and misses, but still somehow gave up 5 runs, Will. Is this a successful outing or not?
He gave up a monster 3-run dong kind of later in the outing. So he did only have 2 runs going for a while.
That's true. Home runs don't count. The Red Sox ended up beating the A's 12-9. Jose Quintana had 5 Ks and 7 scoreless innings. The Mets down the Nationals 7-5. He had these curveballs and changeups, and he's so hard to highlight because his stuff just doesn't jump off the screen, but he can pitch these games where he looks so good. He faced Jake Irvin, who did not look so good. He had 2 Ks in 6 innings, but gave up 6 runs and had this curveball. See, singing all Jake Irvin's praises, and look what he does.
You straight up jinxed him, Ninja.
I did. But I did not jinx Ronel Blanco, who had 7 Ks in 7 innings, giving up 2 runs. His ERA, 2.53 this year. He's 9-3, clearly the best pitcher on the Astros. We all need to put respect on Ronel Blanco's name. In everybody's mind, I think they're waiting for him to fade, and he is just not.
Yeah, I think he got snubbed from the All-Star game for that exact reason.
I did. He has to be, right?
Hopefully one of the pitchers drops out.
He deserves it. He had these wicked changeups and sliders. He faced Trevor Rogers, who had 5 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had this changeup and slider. All-star Logan Gilbert had 7 Ks in 7 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs. He had these dirty curveballs, wicked sliders, including this back foot slider, and this nasty splitter, as the Mariners easily sailed past the Padres 8-3. He faced Adam Major, who had 6 Ks in 4 2/3 innings, giving up 5 runs, and had this curveball and slider. The most strikeouts of the day yesterday goes to Yusei Kikuchi. Do you say Kikuchi, Will?
Absolutely.
He had 13 strikeouts. Yes, I'm losing my voice because he deserves all the screaming you can get. 13 Ks, 7 1/3 innings, giving up 2 runs, absolute dominance, but still the Jays lost to the Giants 4-3. He had these curveballs, picked up a sword, changeups, sliders. Here's a home plate view of his slider. You can see how nasty his slider is, as well as these fastballs. And for him, the biggest change, he said, was going from just trying to mentally throw strikes to executing pitches. He said when he was going to just throw strikes, he ended up leaving way too many pitches in the middle of the zone. And instead, now he's focusing on executing these pitches. This was so good. He's going to end up somewhere else, though. The Jays are going to trade him. Some team's going to get a really good arm. He faced Blake Snell, who had 3 Ks and 5 scoreless innings, giving up only 1 hit. He had these fastballs and curveballs for a sort and looked like the Blake Snell from last year a little bit. Now on to my filthiest relievers. Andrew Chafin picked up a White Castle special. Jesse Chavez had this slider and cutter. Jake Cousins had these sliders and picked up a sword. Cue the trumpets. Edwin Diaz had this 98-mile-an-hour heater. Josh Hader had this slider for a sword. Ben Joyce had this 104-mile-an-hour gas.
Jesus.
I know it's not a strike. It doesn't matter, Will. 104, you're in the highlights. Sir Anthony Dominguez had this 99-mile-an-hour paint. Gregory Soto had these wicked sliders. Kirby Yates had this dirty splitter. And Michel Otanez, no relation to Shohei Ohtani.
Are you sure?
They may be distant relatives. Had these 99-mile-an-hour heaters. And also, big shout out to Kike Hernandez. Got Schwarber on this 54-mile-an-hour slow ball, as well as had these 2 outs where the exit velo on these outs were more than double the velocity of the pitch, which shows you doesn't matter how fast the pitch comes in. Everybody says faster it goes in, the faster it goes out. Very tiny bit of that is related to velocity. Just dropping some knowledge here.
He was having fun with the Schwarber, and Schwarber wanted to bash his skull in.
Did. In the minor leagues, making his high A debut, 20-year-old Harlan Susana. Oh, Susana, won't you throw some gas for me? 103-mile-an-hour heaters and these sliders. Again, 20 years old, throwing 103. You will see this guy in the major leagues at some point, as long as he dials in his command. His command can be a little shaky. My top 5 filthiest pitches of the day yesterday. At number 5, we have Brayan Bello and his changeups. At number 4, Hunter Bigge and this 100-mile-an-hour heater, the Harvard grad throwing gas. If you don't know, now you know. It's all good, baby, baby. It was all a dream, Will. And now it's come true for Hunter Bigge. Any other Bigge references we want to drop today?
He was hypnotizing hitters.
There you go. At number 3, Ryan Pepiot and his filthy changeups. At number 2, you say Kikuchi, I say Kikuchi, we all say Kikuchi and his nasty stuff. And at number 1, Chris Sale and his wicked sliders. And now, my pitching ninja moment of Zen. It's a hot dog eating a hot dog. Is this cannibalism? My picks of the day today, I'm going to take Bryce Miller for 4 Ks or more, then take Shota Imanaga for 5 Ks or more, and Tanner Bybee for 6 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?